I won't lie, that was emotional. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. We have a brand new Turkish drama that dropped on Netflix. It's a heavy film. We're going to talk about that, all of the emotion involved. I need you in the comments down below. And let me know if you like these Netflix reviews every single weekend. Drop your thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and let's get into it. So Mehmet runs a solid waste warehouse in an impoverished Istanbul neighborhood where he helps everyone in need, especially homeless children and teenagers. One day, he meets a homeless 8-year-old boy who changes his life. We have Mehmet, who is our main character, Ali, who is the kid, the 8-year-old that kind of comes into his life and changes everything. And it is a very emotional, a very heavy story, like I mentioned at the beginning of the review, but it's also a story that I believe is at least accessible by everyone, even though there may be one or two scenes where it goes a bit far in terms of either violence or over-the-top moments and elements that not everyone's going to be a fan of. And I'll be flat honest with you, I have been seeing a bit of, actually a lot of criticism from the spaces that I am a part of, like a Letterboxd, and I went into this film very, very questionable, right? Because most of the time, I don't like movies that are over-dramatic. I don't like films that are trying to be heavy for the sake of being heavy and not building up its characters. And with that, most of the time, comes filmmaking that just isn't really up to par. I will say, though, this film, there's a lot of good when it comes to the filmmaking. Now, we'll get into the story a bit more here in just a second, but I want to really praise the technical aspects, the cinematography, lots of tracking shots. And I think some of them are a bit too ambitious for their own good, and they don't flow as naturally as the filmmakers intend. But in terms of the look of the direction, the cinematography at times, all of those things are really good. And then we get a sense of the area that we're in, Istanbul. We get some of the beautiful, gorgeous, grand-looking shots of the city, and we see the beauty within that. But we're spending the majority of our time in the areas that aren't as maybe nice, visually pleasing. They get as much out of it as they can with cinematography, but that's just kind of, that comes with the territory of where they're going with the story. Now, let's talk about the story just a bit more. So this 8-year-old boy appears in what they call a waste sack one day, and essentially he comes out of nowhere, and our lead character has this urge to not only reunite the boy with his parents, but also kind of protect him and remove him from situations that a lot of kids in this particular place fall into, whether it be drugs or crime or just so many elements that are heartbreaking when you think of a kid that young, 8 years old, getting involved in. But not only is he this sweet, caring, giving individual, someone who wants to help the kids of the area, he's also someone who can become overly aggressive at times. And there are points in the film when he is either defending something, but doing it in this ridiculously aggressive manner. And from the outside looking in, I'm saying, all right, man, you need to calm down just a little bit. But you also understand his love and his passion for this boy because of the situation that just feels so similar to what he comes from and what other children come from, right? So it's that bond that keeps you locked in the entire time throughout the film. And like I said, while he's sweet and generous, he's also bombastic and intense, and you feel that intensity, you see that intensity throughout the story, and you kind of see it escalate as we go, because the longer he spends time with this boy in particular, the more protective he becomes, the more, at times, scrambled he becomes and his mind becomes. And that leads us into the third act in one particular story twist that I was very hesitant about, and part of me saw moments coming, but I was accepting of it at the end of the day because of what they gave us with these characters. Now, my big issue with this movie, and for me personally, it's not enough to really bring my investment down, because I do think the characters were built up very well. And I was actually surprised with certain aspects of the story. And a lot of it is that emotion that you gravitate toward. But my big issue is how overly dramatic, how melodramatic it can be. And that somewhat turns into this cheesy nature of it as we go. I think a lot of that is due to the soundtrack. I have a huge issue with the soundtrack behind this film. It turns it into almost a soap opera at times. And it started to wear me down a bit as we were going, because I said, I should be more invested than I am in this moment. I am invested because of the characters, but aspects of the filmmaking, not the visuals, other aspects are taking me out. And then how poorly placed and edited together some scenes are that just took my enjoyment down. It's like my filmmaking brain is over here, trying to nitpick this and pick it apart, but the emotional aspect of my brain and the way I was caring about this situation, and it's a pretty easy thing to pull you in. All you have to do is execute when it comes to the characters. I think they did that, but you still have those moments that are very over the top and a little bit ridiculous at times, and that really started to pull me out. But you also have to look at, the fact that it's a Turkish film, and the filmmaking here, it's just a different style than what we're used to seeing, and I liked that. I liked seeing something, fresh may not be the word, but something different compared to what we get in the United States. And that's what I think one of the beautiful things about Netflix is they're bringing movies from other countries to their platform. And sometimes you get a little movie like Paper Lives, and it works out. And at the end of the day, I believe this film worked out. So before I give you my score, let me know down below, is this the film you're watching this weekend? If you enjoyed this review, drop your thumbs up. While it gets far too overly dramatic at times, the characters do enough to pull you in and make you care, and that's why I'm going a 60% for my score. Paper Lives is on Netflix right now, and I need your thoughts. Thank you guys so much again for watching. Expect more reviews this upcoming week. We have the Snyder Cut, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, lots of great things on this channel, and of course, the Oscars. The nominations are dropping Monday. Expect a reaction then. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.